Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm so happy you're here today. We are going to practice English together, slowly and clearly, so you can train your ears and feel more confident. Today, I want to tell you a short story about my day. It's a real life kind of story, simple and easy to understand. This morning, I woke up feeling a little tired, but I wanted to do something good for my mind and my body. So I said to myself, let's go outside. Let's get some fresh air. I got ready slowly. I drank water, a little water. I put on comfortable clothes and I went to the garage to get my bicycle. When I saw my bicycle, I smiled because I remembered how much I enjoyed riding it. So I grabbed my helmet. I checked the tires and got on the bike. Then I started riding. At first, I rode slowly. The fresh air felt fresh. The sky looked bright. And the morning felt peaceful. As I rode, I looked around. I saw trees. I saw houses. I saw a few people walking their dogs, and I felt calm. After a few minutes, I arrived at a park. I really like this park because it has nice paths and it's quiet. So I kept riding and I enjoyed the moment. Then something interesting happened. I saw someone sitting on a bench. She was looking at her phone and she had a small bag next to her. At first, I didn't recognize her, but when I got closer, I saw her face clearly and I stopped. It was me. Me is my friend. She is from China, and a long time ago, she was my teacher. Yes, she was my teacher from China, and later I became her English teacher. So we always laugh about that. We say, you were my teacher, and now I'm your teacher. I got off my bicycle and said, me? Is that you? She looked up and her eyes got big. Then she smiled and said, Ellie, oh my goodness. I smiled too and I said, wow, what a surprise. How are you? She stood up and gave me a quick hug. Then she said, I'm good. I'm really good. And you? I said, I'm doing well. I came to ride my bike and get some fresh air. She said, that's so nice. I love this park. I said, me too. It's peaceful. Then we sat on a bench for a moment and we started talking. We decided to practice English together because that's what we always do. Me said, my English is not perfect. I said, that's okay. My Chinese is not perfect either. She laughed and said, your Chinese is cute. I laughed and said, thank you. That's not a compliment, but I'll take it. Then Me said, do you want to practice English right now? I said, yes, let's do it. So we started simple questions. I asked her, how was your week been? She answered slowly, my week has been busy. I've been working a lot. I said, what kind of work are you doing these days? She said, I work online. I teach Chinese to kids. I said, that's amazing. You're still a teacher. She smiled and said, yes, I love teaching. Then she looked at me and asked, and you? Are you still teaching English? I said, yes, I am. I teach English to Spanish speakers. I love it. She said, that is very good. You help many people. I said, thank you. And you helped me too. You taught me so much. She smiled. And for a moment, we just felt grateful. Then Me said, let's practice a small conversation, like we are meeting from the first time. I said, okay, let's try. So she said, hi, my name is Me. Nice to meet you. I said, hi Me, I'm Ellie. Nice to meet you too. Where are you from? She said, I'm from China. I'm from Beijing. I said, oh wow, that's wonderful. What do you do? She said, I'm a teacher. I teach Chinese. Then I said, that's great. I'm a teacher too. I teach English. She smiled and said, we are both teachers. I said, yes, we are. Then we laughed because it felt simple, but it was good practice. After that, we practiced more real life English. We talked about daily routines. I asked, what do you do in the morning? Me said, in the morning, I drink tea. Then I check my emails. Then I start my classes. I said, that sounds good. What kind of tea do you like? She said, I like jasmine tea. I said, jasmine tea smells so good. Then she asked me, what do you usually do in the afternoon? I said, in the afternoon, I work on my videos. I plan my lessons and sometimes I go for a walk. She said, that is a good routine. I said, I try. Then Me looked around the park and said, "This park is beautiful today." I said, "Yes, the weather is nice." She said, "It's not too hot, not too cold." I said, "Exactly. It's perfect." Then we stood up and decided to walk a little. I walked next to my bicycle, and she walked next to me. We walked slowly, and we kept practicing English. At one point, Me said, "Sometimes I feel nervous when I speak English." I said, "That's normal. Many people feel nervous. The important thing is to practice little by little." She nodded and said, "Yes, practice helps." I said, "Exactly. Practice helps your ears, your mouth, and your confidence." Then I told her, "You are doing great. Your English is clear." She smiled and said, "Thank you. You are a good teacher." I said, "And you are a good student." She laughed and said, "I tried." After a while, Me looked at the time and said, "I have to go soon. I have a class in 30 minutes. I said, "Of course. I don't want to make you late." So we walked back to the bench. She picked up her bag, and I picked up my helmet. Before we left, I said, "Me, I'm really happy I saw you today." She said, "Me too. It made my day better." I said, "We should meet again soon and practice more English again." She nodded and said, "Yes, let's do it. Next time, we can bring coffee and talk more." I smiled and said, "That sounds perfect." Then we said goodbye. She said, "Bye, Ellie. Have a good day." I said, "Bye, Me. Take care." Then I got on my bicycle again, and I started riding back home. As I rode, I felt happy and thankful. I thought about how simple moments can become special moments. I also thought about something important. Practicing English does not always have to be complicated. Sometimes it's just a conversation in a park. Sometimes just ask simple questions, and little by little your English gets better. So, that was my story for today. Thank you for practicing with me. I'm proud of you for showing up, for listening, and for training your ears. And I'll see you in the next practice. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like, because it helps me a lot to do more practice videos. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!